After beating Leicester City 2-0 on match day 26, Arsenal have now won 5 of their last 5 Premier League fixtures, sitting comfortably in the top 4 with a couple of games in hand against Manchester United, Tottenham and West Ham United. However, the big question is, will Arsenal go back to the Champions League, a tournament where we have not featured for the last 6 years? We will find out in this video what the different pundits think, what players think, and the manager thinks about Arsenal going back to the UEFA Champions League. And also, what has Arsene Wenger told Bein Sport about Mikel Arteta? Is he the new long-term manager at Arsenal? And the transfer roundup, let's find out in this video. Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. If you enjoy the content, make sure you smash a like on the video. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel as well, because lots of content will be coming up your way. More quality, more content from Cossy on Cossy's Arsenal podcast. With this morning, lads, I cannot start with anything else apart from our 2-0 victory against Leicester City. That was a very, very expensive win. That was a very, very huge win for Arsenal. It made it 5 wins in the last 5 Premier League games. And of course, it made it 16 points that we have taken away out of the last 18 points that were there to be taken. In the last 6 games, we have drawn 1 and we have actually won 5. Arsenal really, really on fire. Of course, Mikel Arteta was speaking about it in his press conference and said, look, we might be actually going back to the UEFA Champions League, and many of these boys, many of these people in and around the team are starting to believe, and I'm honestly, lads, also starting to believe, because in there, lads, we were playing Leicester City, and that that weekend victory meant that if we beat them, we would have completed the first back-to-back wins in the Premier League against Leicester City ever since 2016, when they were actually winning the title. And guess what, lads? We did this season. We have not conceded a single goal against Leicester City, because in the first leg at the King Power Stadium, it was 2-0 yet again. Emile Smith-Rowe getting onto the score sheet, if you still remember that game. And again, yesterday, beautiful and brilliant football from players like Thomas Partey, Martin Odegaard. Of course, later in this video, we'll be finding out what Odegaard has said about Thomas Partey and what Thomas Partey is really thinking about himself after criticizing himself very, very much in January. He's come out and said, look, this is the standard, this is the level at which we must be performing at as Arsenal Football Club. But the most important thing, lads, is that Arsenal now are in the top 4, sitting there comfortably ahead of Manchester United, Spurs and West Ham, despite the fact that we have games in hand. Let me know down there in the comments box below, do you think this is the best Arsenal side we have seen in the last 10 years? Because personally, lads, I'm gonna have to debate here and there. We've seen so many good Arsenal sides, the likes of Mesut Ozil, the combination between Ozil, Sanchez, Ramsdale, and Jakushaya. But ultimately, this Arsenal side is bringing us lots and lots of joy. Let me know that down in the comments below, lads. Do you think this is the best Arsenal side we've seen in the last decade period of 10 years? And of course, lads, talking about the weekend, we cannot fail to talk about that man there on your screen, Martin Odegaard, man of the match for me. A really, really very good performance yesterday. He actually outclassed James Maddison. He outclassed every other attacking player, every other attacking pawn on that pitch. He was really, really unplayable today. And of course, after the game, he came out and said, look here, our Arsenal, we do have a very, very huge project going on. All of us are enjoying playing together, and all of us are really, really loving life here. Speaking to the media after the game, Martin Odegaard said, there is clearly something special going on here now. You feel it in the whole club. We are building something very, very special. It is a group of players who like playing together, who like each other, and who enjoy playing football together. And of course, we guys saw that yesterday on the pitch. There were those very, very little connections between Odegaard, Saka, and of course the man himself, Alexander Lacazette, who you think is actually the glue that binds this team together. And Mikel Arteta, the manager, after the game, he spoke about the brilliance of Martin Odegaard, and he said he was terrific again today in every aspect of the game. He is showing great maturity and responsibility on the pitch. He makes the others actually perform better, and you guys cannot really actually deny that. Martin Odegaard yesterday in that game against Leicester City, he had 26 key passes. You had the same player who created the most number of chances on that pitch, 6 chances, 6 goal scoring opportunities on that game. The player with the most number of touches in the penalty area. He is really having the season of his life, and Real Madrid, maybe they will look back to the time when they signed him and they will feel they've made a huge mistake, because if they want him now, they cannot pay at least less than 70 million pounds. Obviously, let me know, lads, in the comments below, where do you think and how do you rate Martin Odegaard out of 10 this season so far? Do you give him a 10 out of 10? Do you give him an 8 out of 10? Personally, I'll give him that 7.5 out of 10, because I believe he can actually be better. He can actually become that world-class number 10 for the Premier League and of course for Arsenal Football Club. And also talking about good performances, lads, of the weekend, Thomas Partey, what a masterclass, what a good performance he actually put in there against Leicester City. He could have easily scored a hat-trick, and of course when he was asked whether he could have got more goals than one, there Martin Odegaard said he should be scoring and should be on a hat-trick right now. He should have walked off that pitch with a ball in his hands, because you remember, lads, in the 11th minute we got our first goal, and it was courtesy of Thomas Partey's header. Brilliant header, well positioned, and it's just a cool finish for me. He's really on it, and of course in the, just a few minutes there, he hits the woodwork. Very close to getting his second for Arsenal, and his second on the evening. He just hits the woodwork. I think it's very unlucky there, because the technique he uses to strike that ball, if he actually if he adds a little bend, just a little bend to that ball, it is actually 2-0. And also the third opportunity, he hits the ball, he thinks it is going in, and then Kagla Soyuncu gets handball. We get a penalty, but of course for Thomas Partey, it would have been very massive to see my number 8, my box-to-box, getting that hat-trick. But of course, talking about the game and his reaction, he said, "Look, I feel very happy. I really love scoring in our games, and it's really part of the game that at times you want to score a hat-trick, but then you do not." But I said, "I'm really happy. I want to help the team, and that is what exactly I am doing." He also said that we have a couple of difficult games coming in. Of course, all games are difficult, but he said, as Martin Odegaard has said, we have to go game by game. We want to keep improving, and that is our mentality right now. Obviously, speaking about Thomas Partey, Granit Xhaka has also, of course, they're playing in that pivot, and I think they're really doing magic. They're really producing very good work between them. Xhaka has come out on Thomas Partey and said, look, he criticized himself very hard, but he is now very fit. He is healthy. He is so important for the team. You can see his qualities without the ball, with the ball, and everything starts for him. I'm enjoying being a part of the midfield where he is actually involved, and no one in the world, lads. We've said we said this when we had just seen Thomas Partey. No one in this world will never say that Thomas Partey is not good enough. He's so good. He's really that kind of complete midfielder. He can play as a box-to-box. He can play that kind of number 6. He can really play as an anchorman. He's a really big gem and a very important part of a squad. But of course, as I said, we have to go game by game. But that was a real sign of improvement from Thomas Partey. Let me know, lads, do you think Partey has actually hit the limit? Has he hit the levels at which we want him to be performing at? And I'll be very glad to take and react to your comments. Moving on, lads, to more Arsenal news. Arsene Wenger has also come out and given credit to Mikel Arteta, and he said, look, this could be the manager ever since I left Arsenal that has actually recaptured the spirits of Arsenal Football Club and the spirits of the fans really in and out. He was speaking to Bein Sport yesterday, the big man there, Arsene Wenger, who actually Mikel Arteta wants to come back. He wants him to be back and to operate very, very closely with the team. He was speaking to Bein Sport during that, during that game. And he was saying, look, I think Arsenal is back to where they belong, and I think we are really seeing a very, very, very improved side under Mikel Arteta. On his take on Mikel Arteta, he said Arteta has really recaptured the spirit of of Arsenal. He said, I think so. Yes, we still have some some way to go. All the ingredients are there. The club has invested a lot of money for the first time since they built the stadium. So maybe Arsene Wenger is really seeing this in a very, because you've got to give him the credit, you've got to give him all the due respect as Arsenal manager. He built Arsenal, the modern day Arsenal that we knew. It is courtesy of Arsene Wenger. So basically when he says, yes, this is the Arsenal, this is the direction that they have to take, you've got to believe him. Obviously, he also spoke about Ashley Cole when he was asked about the player that he wished he actually never sold, the player he wished he could actually re-sign at Arsenal. And he said the player I think internally was a mistake to lose was Ashley Cole. He said Cole came out of the club's academy. It was a misunderstanding over a few £1,000 and we actually lost him. But of course he said there, lads, if he had a chance to re-sign one player, of all the players that Arsenal lost, one player like this that Arsenal Wenger could bring back is Ashley Cole. And I'm going to ask you lads there, if you had a chance to bring back one player at Arsenal, which player would that be? Personally, I would go for Cesc Fabregas. I really love Cesc Fabregas as my captain, as my number 10, as one of the best midfielders in the world, as one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. I really, really loved and enjoyed his time at Arsenal. He could score. He was really, really fearless. And I could see Martin Odegaard becoming the kind of Cesc Fabregas someday. But anyway, lads, let me know, what do you think about that man there, Ashley Cole, and which player among all the players that we lost during that project, during that time of rebuilding and building the Emirates Stadium, which player would you resign, or which player would you rather he didn't leave Arsenal at all? Still talking Arsenal and Leicester, Brendan Rodgers actually come out and made a very, very huge comment about goalkeeper and Ramsdale, and he said, I think at the moment he is the best English goalkeeper in the Premier League. Whether yes or no, whether you agree or you disagree, I would love you guys to get me that reaction in the comments below, and also hit the like button. Let's get this video to 300 likes. But the huge question lies from Brendan Rodgers, because this is what he said. For me, he is the best English goalkeeper at the moment. I think he is at the top. His progression since he came to Arsenal, he's playing for a huge club, different expectation with how to play football. I think he's dealt with all that really, really well. And we cannot really argue with you, Brendan. We cannot actually really argue with you, because we have seen this guy. We have seen Ramsdale really despised as a player, signing from Sheffield United to Arsenal, but at this point in time he's really, really done very well. Of course, in both legs he's been very, very influential, especially in that first leg, because he really denied so many chances. James Maddison could have gotten an equalizer, Harvey Barnes could have gotten an equalizer in that game, but all in vain. That free kick stopped, that free kick save everyone, the whole world literally stopped. Aaron Ramsdale, they watched him and we watched on as James Maddison was picking up the far corner, and Aaron Ramsdale was just equal to the challenge. And yesterday, lads, it happened again. It was a very, very, very good cross in into the penalty area. Harvey Barnes with a very, very good header, with a very, very good flick on. Harvey Barnes thinks it's going in. Brendan Rodgers thinks it's going in. James Maddison, when you look at that picture on your screen, thinks it's going in. Martin Odegaard, of course, the legs of Gabriel Martinelli are also thinking it's going in. And also me on my screen, I'm watching that and I'm like, it's going in. It's going to be 1-1. And Aaron Ramsdale again freezes time and says, It is not going in. Very, very beautiful and very, very good performances from the lad there on both occasions as we beat Leicester City home and away. And Brendan Rodgers, the fact that he said for him, he is the best English goalkeeper at the moment, I maybe could not argue, because if I look at Nick Pope at the moment, you cannot really say he's better than Aaron Ramsdale. Jadon Pickford with a struggling Everton, you might actually struggle. Yes, he does very well when he's actually called for for national duty, but at the moment you cannot really compare him to Aaron Ramsdale. And of course the likes of the other players, Sam Johnston and the others, they really do not come any close to Aaron Ramsdale at the moment. I will be very surprised if Ramsdale does not become England's #1 in the World Cup. I really be very, very surprised. And of course, guys, we have to now move on to the transfer roundup around Arsenal. What is moving around the club in terms of transfers? First and foremost, Kevin Campbell has come out, and of course ex-Arsenal player, ex-Arsenal great Arsenal legend, has come out. He was speaking on YouTube on the Highbury squad, and he said, look, Alexander Lacazette is really doing very well, really doing a great job, but we still need to go out there and get a striker. So I think our priority really remains us getting a striker. I think we need to get someone that really can do what Alexander Lacazette does, holds the team, becomes that kind of glue to the offensive, and also can be very good in terms of leadership. I think he's really giving us a lot of work. But of course, Kevin Campbell coming up there and saying, look, Arsenal really need to go out there and get themselves a striker. And also Piers Morgan has come out and criticized all Arsenal fans that were actually speaking ill about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now, this actually came a moment after Arsenal really doing well without Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Ever since he's moved to FC Barcelona, Arsenal have actually failed to score. I think it is only once or twice. Ever since then, we are actually really doing very well. But of course, Piers Morgan has actually come out, great Arsenal fan. He's actually come out and said, look, Arsenal fans, this lad, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, has scored 6 goals in 9 appearances for FC Barcelona. Maybe it was a huge, a huge mistake. Maybe we shouldn't have let him go. What do you think there, lads, about the man himself, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang? Do you think, of course, he's really on fire for Barcelona? Scored again yesterday as they were beating Osasuna 4-0. He's now scored 5 goals in the La Liga for them. The project that Xavi is actually running down there is very interesting. Of course, there are problems with Messi. Watch me on 99 Sport, on 99 News, as we discuss Messi, Ronaldo, and much more of that. But also moving on to Arsenal transfer speculation, Renato Sanchez is back in the news. Arsenal will be looking to maybe try to negotiate and break a deal with them and Lille for Renato Sanchez. At least what I can believe and what I understand, according to Football London's Chris Whitley, is that Arsenal will be trying to go for a central midfielder in the summer. And also still talking about central midfielders and more players to come in the summer. Fabian Luiz is another player that is being looked at the moment at Arsenal Football Club. So that and more I will be discussing in the later episodes, in the subsequent episodes of Arsenal News. Stay tuned. Love you. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me speak to you very soon.